You know that feeling when you wake up already tired? Like you went to bed exhausted and somehow woke up even more drained? You check your phone, and before you're even fully awake, you're already feeling behind. Already feeling like you're not doing enough. Already feeling that familiar weight settle on your chest. Here's what nobody tells you. You're not tired because you didn't sleep enough. You're tired because you've been giving your energy away to things that don't deserve it. People who don't appreciate it. Thoughts that don't serve you. Problems that aren't even yours to solve. And it's been happening so gradually, so quietly, that you didn't even notice the leak until you were running on empty. We live like energy is unlimited, like we can worry about everyone else's problems, replay every awkward conversation, stress about things completely outside our control, mentally manage other people's emotions, and somehow still have enough left over for what actually matters. But energy isn't like time. You can't manage it the same way. You don't get a fresh tank every morning. You get what's left after everything you gave away yesterday. And most of us are running on fumes without realizing we're the ones who left the tap on. We're the ones who said yes when we meant no. We're the ones who absorbed other people's stress like it was our job. We're the ones who made ourselves available to everything and everyone except the person who needed us most, ourselves. There's this quiet epidemic happening. People walking around feeling drained, depleted, like they're living someone else's life. And everyone just accepts it as normal. Like exhaustion is the price of being a good person. Think about yesterday. Really think about it. How much energy did you spend on that text message you've been overthinking? The one where you read between lines that probably weren't even there? How much did you give to that person who always has drama but never wants solutions? How much leaked out through scrolling, comparing your behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel? How much energy went to that conversation you had 3 months ago that you're still replaying, still defending yourself in, still trying to win? How much went to worrying about what people think about your choices, your appearance, your life decisions? How much went to mentally rehearsing conversations that will never happen, preparing for scenarios that will never unfold? Your energy has been treated like a public resource, available to anyone who asks, demands, or just takes it without permission. Your attention has become a free-for-all. Your emotional bandwidth has been treated like it's infinite. But here's the thing that changes everything. Your energy is not democratic. You don't owe it to everyone equally. You're not selfish for being protective of it. You're being strategic. Because the people who seem magnetic, grounded, unshakable, they're not superhuman. They don't have some special energy source the rest of us don't have access to. They just learned something most people never figure out. They learned how to keep their energy for themselves. They learned that no is a complete sentence. They learned that their peace is more valuable than other people's approval. They learned that you can care about someone without carrying their emotional baggage. You can love someone without fixing their problems. You can be a good person without being available to everyone all the time. They learned the difference between being supportive and being a support system for people who refuse to support themselves. And here's what's wild. Once they started protecting their energy, they didn't become less caring. They became more effective. Because when you stop spreading yourself thin, you can go deep. When you stop being everything to everyone, you can be something real to the people who matter. You've been living like energy debt is normal. Like feeling drained by Tuesday is just part of being an adult. Like having nothing left for your own dreams, your own peace, your own joy is the price you pay for being a good person. Like running on empty is a virtue instead of a choice. But what if it's not? What if the exhaustion you're carrying isn't from working too hard, but from caring too much about things that don't care back? What if the reason you feel scattered isn't because you're doing too much, but because you're giving your attention to too many things that don't deserve it? What if the reason you can't find time for yourself isn't because you're too busy, but because you've trained everyone around you to expect your immediate availability? What if the reason you feel like you're living someone else's life is because you've been so focused on managing everyone else's emotions that you forgot what yours even feel like? The truth is, you've been taught that boundaries are mean, that protecting your energy makes you selfish, that saying no makes you a bad person. But nobody warned you what happens when you say yes to everything. You become a ghost in your own life. You become so busy maintaining other people's comfort that you forget what your own feels like. Let's get brutally honest about where your energy actually goes. It's not just the big obvious things, the toxic relationships, the job you hate, the family drama that never seems to end. It's the micro leaks, the death by 1,000 small cuts. It's the mental energy you spend on people who forgot about you 5 minutes after they walked away. It's the emotional energy you pour into scenarios that exist only in your head. It's the time you spend crafting the perfect text message to someone who responds with K. It's the anxiety you carry about situations that are completely outside your control. It's staying up late scrolling through social media, comparing your real life to other people's curated moments. It's the energy you spend trying to read minds, trying to figure out what people really mean when they say things. It's the emotional labor you do for people who never asked you to do it and don't even notice that you're doing it. You're giving premium energy to budget concerns. You're treating your mental space like a public bathroom. Anyone can come in and leave their mess, and somehow you feel responsible for cleaning it up. But what if you started treating your energy like what it actually is, the most valuable currency you have? Here's what nobody tells you. The people who drain you most aren't necessarily bad people. They're just people who've learned that your energy is always available. They've learned that you'll always say yes. They've learned that you'll always absorb their stress, solve their problems, manage their emotions. And why wouldn't they take it? You keep offering it. You've trained people to see you as the person who's always available, always understanding, always willing to put their needs before your own. You've become the emotional dumping ground, the unpaid therapist, the friend who listens to the same problems over and over again without ever seeing change. And here's the part that might sting a little. Some of this is on you. Not because you're bad, but because you never learned that your energy is not a renewable resource. You never learned that you can't pour from an empty cup. You never learned that saying yes to everyone means saying no to yourself. You've been people-pleasing your way into exhaustion, thinking that if you just give a little more, care a little more, try a little harder, somehow everyone will be happy and you'll finally get to rest. But it doesn't work that way. The more available you make yourself, the more people expect your availability. But here's where everything changes. You don't have to announce that you're protecting your energy. You don't have to make a big speech about boundaries. You don't have to send a group text explaining that you're changing how you show up in the world. You just start treating your energy like it matters. You start noticing where it goes. You start asking yourself, is this worth my life force? Because that's what energy is. It's your life force. It's the fuel that powers your dreams, your creativity, your ability to show up for the people and things that actually matter. Every minute you spend worried about things you can't control. Every hour you spend emotionally managing other people's choices. Every day you spend in mental loops about the past or future. That's life force you're never getting back. That's creative energy that could have gone toward building something beautiful. That's emotional bandwidth that could have gone toward deepening real relationships. The shift isn't about becoming cold or uncaring. It's about becoming intentional. It's about realizing that you can't pour from an empty cup, and you've been running on fumes for so long you forgot what it feels like to be full. It's about understanding that protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's necessary. So here's what you try. For the next 24 hours, before you give your energy to anything, a conversation, a worry, a scroll through social media, a mental replay of something that happened last week, ask yourself, will this add to my life or subtract from it? And if it's going to subtract, you pause. You don't engage, you redirect. When someone tries to dump their stress on you, you listen, but you don't absorb. There's a difference between being supportive and being a sponge. You can care about someone's problem without making it your problem. When your mind wants to replay that thing from 3 years ago, you notice it, but you don't feed it. Thoughts are like stray cats. Feed them and they keep coming back. When you feel the urge to check if that person responded to your message, you feel the urge, but you don't act on it. When someone asks you to do something that you don't want to do, you pause before automatically saying yes. You ask yourself, do I actually want to do this, or am I just afraid of disappointing someone? This isn't about becoming a robot. It's about becoming the CEO of your own energy company. And right now, you're giving away shares to people who aren't even invested in your success. Now, your brain is going to resist this. It's going to tell you that protecting your energy makes you selfish, that not responding immediately makes you a bad friend, that saying no makes you unreliable, that setting boundaries makes you difficult. Your brain is going to come up with 1,000 reasons why you need to keep giving your energy away. But here's what your brain doesn't understand. You can't be good to others if you're not good to yourself first. You can't support others if you're not supporting yourself. You can't love others fully if you're not loving yourself enough to protect what makes you who you are. The people who truly care about you want you to protect your energy. They want you to have boundaries. They want you to show up as your full self, not a drained version of who you used to be. They want you to be happy, not just helpful. They want you to thrive, not just survive. And the people who get upset when you start protecting your energy, the ones who get angry when you start saying no, the ones who make you feel guilty for having boundaries, they were never really your people anyway. They were just people who benefited from your depletion. They were just people who liked the version of you that said yes to everything, even when it was killing you slowly. Let's talk about something uncomfortable. Energy vampires. These are the people who leave you feeling drained every time you interact with them. They're not necessarily bad people, but they've learned to use other people's energy instead of generating their own. They're the friend who only calls when they need something. The coworker who complains about everything but never wants to find solutions. The family member who creates drama and then expects you to fix it. The person who trauma dumps on you without asking if you have the emotional bandwidth to hold space for their pain. They're the people who interrupt you constantly, talk over you, make everything about them. They're the ones who ask for advice and then argue with everything you suggest. They're the ones who borrow your emotional energy and never pay it back. You know who they are. You feel it in your body when you see their name on your phone. You feel that familiar heaviness when you know you have to interact with them. You leave conversations with them feeling like you've been through an emotional blender. And here's the hard truth. You've been enabling this. Not because you're bad, but because you never learned that you can love someone and still protect yourself from them. You can care about someone and still limit how much access they have to your energy. Boundaries aren't walls. They're not about shutting people out or becoming cold and distant. Boundaries are like the fence around your house. They don't keep you trapped inside. They keep unwanted things from getting in. They create a safe space where you can be yourself without having to manage everyone else's emotions. Setting boundaries is not about punishing other people. It's about protecting yourself. It's about creating space for your own thoughts, your own feelings, your own needs to exist. It's about remembering that you're not responsible for managing everyone else's emotional state. You can set boundaries with love. You can say no with kindness. You can protect your energy without being cruel about it. I can't take on any more commitments right now. I need some time to myself tonight. I'm not available to discuss this topic. These aren't mean statements, they're honest ones. And here's what's beautiful about boundaries. They don't just protect you, they teach other people how to treat you. When you show people that your time and energy are valuable, they start treating them as valuable. When you stop being available to everything, people start respecting your availability. You know what happens when you stop giving your energy away to everything and everyone? It comes back. Not all at once, energy doesn't work like that, but slowly, quietly, you start feeling like yourself again. You start having energy for the things that actually matter. Your creativity returns because you're not spending all your mental bandwidth on other people's problems. Your sense of humor comes back because you're not carrying everyone else's emotional weight. You stop feeling like you're running on autopilot, going through the motions of your own life. The conversations you have become deeper because you're actually present instead of mentally elsewhere. Your decisions become clearer because you're not clouded by everyone else's opinions and expectations. Your peace becomes unshakable because it's not dependent on external circumstances staying perfect. You start sleeping better because you're not carrying the weight of everyone else's problems to bed with you. You start waking up with more enthusiasm because you're not immediately giving your energy away to your phone, to social media, to worry about things you can't control. And here's the beautiful part. When you stop being available to everything, you become more available to what matters. The people who deserve your energy get the best of you, not the leftovers. The dreams you've been putting on hold finally get some attention. The hobbies you used to love, the books you wanted to read, the places you wanted to go, they all become possible again because you have energy for them. When you start protecting your energy, something amazing happens. You give other people permission to do the same. Your friends start setting boundaries. Your family starts respecting limits. Your coworkers stop expecting you to solve every problem. You become a model for what it looks like to live with intention instead of obligation. You show people that it's possible to be kind without being a pushover. You demonstrate that you can care about others without sacrificing yourself. Your relationships actually improve because you're showing up as your full self instead of a depleted version. You're more present in conversations because you're not mentally somewhere else. You're more generous when you choose to give because you're giving from abundance, not scarcity. The people who are meant to be in your life will respect your boundaries. They'll appreciate that you're taking care of yourself because it means you can show up better for them. They'll understand that your energy is precious and they'll treat it accordingly. And the people who don't respect your boundaries, the ones who get angry when you start protecting yourself, they're showing you exactly why you needed boundaries in the first place. They're revealing that they were more interested in what you could do for them than who you actually are. Think of your energy like money. You wouldn't give your money to everyone who asked for it, would you? You wouldn't let people raid your bank account just because they needed something. You wouldn't work for free for people who don't appreciate your time. So why do you give your energy away so freely? Why do you let people take your emotional bandwidth without asking? Why do you spend your mental currency on things that don't give you any return on investment? Your energy is more valuable than money because you can't earn more of it. You get a finite amount each day, and when it's gone, it's gone. You can't work overtime to generate more emotional bandwidth. You can't pull an all-nighter to create more mental clarity. Start treating your energy like the precious resource it is. Be selective about where you invest it. Choose quality over quantity. Say no to good things so you can say yes to great things. Protect what makes you who you are because once it's depleted, everything else in your life suffers. When you start protecting your energy like it's sacred, because it is, everything changes. You wake up with more in the tank because you didn't drain it all the night before scrolling through social media or worrying about things you can't control. You go to bed feeling accomplished instead of exhausted because you spent your energy on things that matter. You stop feeling like you're constantly behind, constantly overwhelmed, constantly not enough. You start moving through life with intention instead of obligation. You start saying yes because you want to, not because you feel like you have to. You start showing up as someone who has something to give instead of someone who's always giving what they don't have. You become someone who people respect, not just someone who people use. You become someone who has opinions, preferences, boundaries. You become someone who takes up space in their own life instead of just being a supporting character in everyone else's story. And the most beautiful part, when you stop giving your energy away, you remember what it feels like to be energized by your own life. Not by external validation, not by other people's approval, but by the simple fact that you're living in alignment with who you actually are. You start feeling excited about your own goals instead of just supporting everyone else's. You start having energy for your own dreams instead of just being the cheerleader for everyone else's. You start living your own life instead of just helping everyone else live theirs. Here's how you start. Tomorrow morning, before you check your phone, before you start your day, before you make yourself available to the world, ask yourself, what do I need today? Not what does everyone else need from you, but what do you need? Maybe you need 10 minutes of silence. Maybe you need to move your body. Maybe you need to eat breakfast without checking emails. Maybe you need to set a boundary with someone who's been draining you. Maybe you need to say no to something you don't want to do. Throughout the day, check in with your energy levels. Notice when they're high and what's contributing to that. Notice when they're low and what's causing the drain. Start to see patterns. Start to see which people, activities, thoughts, and behaviors give you energy and which ones take it away. And then start making small adjustments. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. You just need to start protecting what's precious. You need to start treating your energy like it matters because it does. It's what makes everything else in your life possible. You don't need anyone's permission to protect your energy, but in case you're waiting for it, here it is. You're allowed to be unavailable. You're allowed to not respond immediately. You're allowed to say no without explaining yourself. You're allowed to prioritize your own needs. You're allowed to remove yourself from draining situations. You're allowed to limit contact with energy vampires. You're allowed to change your mind about commitments that no longer serve you. You're allowed to disappoint people if it means protecting yourself. You're allowed to be deeply caring without being constantly available. You're allowed to love people without fixing their problems. You're allowed to be supportive without being a support system for people who refuse to support themselves. Your energy is yours. Your time is yours. Your emotional bandwidth is yours. You get to decide where it goes. You get to decide what deserves it. You get to protect it like the precious resource it is. Your energy is not unlimited. Your attention is not free. Your emotional bandwidth is not a public service. You get to choose where it goes. You get to decide what deserves it. You get to protect it like the treasure it is. So if this landed, if you felt this in your body and not just your head, if you recognized yourself in this description of someone who's been giving their energy away, comment, "My energy is mine," below. Let me know you're ready to stop giving away what you can't afford to lose. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, someone who's been running on empty for way too long, someone who's been saying yes when they mean no, someone who's been carrying everyone else's emotional weight, share this with them. They might need the permission to protect their peace just as much as you did. Your energy returns when you stop giving it away. The question is, are you ready to stop giving it away? Are you ready to start living like your energy matters? Are you ready to remember what it feels like to be full instead of empty? Because you deserve to feel energized by your own life. You deserve to wake up excited about your day. You deserve to have energy for your own dreams, your own goals, your own happiness. And it all starts with one simple decision: to stop giving away what you need to keep. Your energy is yours. It's time to start acting like it.